Ethical challenges of globalization. The previous section deals mainly with economic aspects of globalization. This portion, nonetheless, contend with their ethical implications and other moral challenges posed by globalization itself. One criticism against the presently unfolding neoliberal globalization is that it concentrates wealth in the hands of a few, leaving the majority in the condition of poverty. While advocates of globalization paint a pretty picture of a globalized world marked by the spread of liberal democracy, prosperity, and peace, globalization has actually caused radical inequality, a deepening of exclusions brought about by inequalities that present the world to be a fragmented space where some benefit at the expense of others. Critics thus describe globalization as a process driven by progressive capitalist countries to perpetuate their economic and political domination. With the continuous globalization, also arise the propagation of laissez-faire capitalism, a French term that translates as leave alone. It deepens the inequality among nations and is being condemned from the consequentialist and deontological standpoints. From the consequentialist viewpoint, the moral argument against globalization is that it fails to maximize happiness for the greatest number of people. From a deontological perspective, particularly in Kantian ethics, globalization is condemnable on the account that exploited populations are treated as means to an end and not as end in themselves. Another problem with globalization is that states are in effect increasingly losing their sovereignty.
1. Sovereignty is a political concept that refers to dominant power or supreme authority. In a monarchy, supreme power resides in the sovereign, or king. In modern democracies, sovereign power rests with the people and is exercised through representative bodies such as Congress or Parliament. And the sovereign is the one who exercises power without limitation. In a globalized world, organizations such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, World Bank, and World Trade Organization, WTO, virtually take over their traditional functions. For example, the World Bank and the IMF usually prescribe dislikable neoliberal policies such as currency devaluation, subsidy removal, and the privatization of strategic public enterprise as conditions for granting loans to financially distraught states. This scenario generated by globalization is thus seen as morally condemnable intrusiveness of international economic organizations characterized by lack of accountability to the people openly affected by their policies and the tendency to impose agonizing conditions on indebted governments.